Vicki Yates, weeknights on News Channel 5 at 6 in HD.
I'm Katie Couric in Blacksburg, Virginia, the scene today of the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. A gunman opens fire on the campus of Virginia Tech University. By the time the shooting is over, more than 30 people, including the gunman, are dead. Tonight, full coverage of the massacre at Virginia Tech.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric reporting tonight from the campus of Virginia Tech University.
And this is an expanded one-hour version of the CBS Evening News. Hello, everyone. This university may be in southwestern Virginia, but what happened here this morning has shaken the entire nation. A gunman, his motive still unknown, has killed more than 30 people, making it the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. And there was many serious questions tonight about the way campus security and school officials responded to these incidents and whether much of the carnage could have been prevented. The sound of gunfire captured here on a student's cell phone shattered the beginning of a cold spring Monday morning.
Well, today the university was struck with a tragedy that we consider of monumental proportions.
In the aftermath, these vivid images of terror and tragedy. Authorities confirmed 33 people dead, including the shooter, at least 26 people injured. The killing spree began about 7:15 a.m. when 2 people were killed at West Ambler Johnston, a co-ed dorm that houses about 900. About 9:20 a.m., 2 hours later, 31 more would die at Norris Hall, an engineering building.
I've heard that a classroom with students was shot, and basically a gunman went into the classroom, unloaded, and none of the students that were in the classroom came out alive.
Already questions are being raised about how a shooting could take place on a major college campus of 25,000 students and continue 2 hours later on another side of the campus. Was the police response sufficient? Were students and faculty notified of the threat? What is your reaction, you guys, to what happened here this morning?
Complete shock.
I spoke with 3 freshmen who were on campus today. You all are angry that there wasn't a lockdown after the initial shooting this morning.
It's not so much anger as it is confusion about who was making that decision, how it was made, and how they can justify having someone killed on campus and to ask the student body to live their daily life like nothing had happened.
Late this afternoon, authorities still had not identified the deceased gunman. He was an Asian male who police say was heavily armed.
Well, it's very difficult because we are an open society and an open campus, and we have over 26,000 people here and hundreds of buildings. And I think the best thing we can do is we ask people to report anything they saw that was suspicious, but we obviously can't have an armed guard in front of every classroom every day of the year.
Many questions remain, but 2 things are for certain. Sadly, Virginia Tech has just become an all-time mass murder site, and students here will never feel the same.
Most of us would definitely say that we feel safe here on our campus, but I mean, the unexpected does happen, I guess.
One of the witnesses to the massacre was a sophomore named Derek Odell. He was wounded in the arm by the gunman, and a short time ago, he told me his story. Derek, tell me what happened.
Well, basically, I was in Norris Hall, which is the place of the second shooting, and the gunman came into our class after he had fired maybe 10 rounds prior to that. And he came into our class, shot the person that was sitting next to me, shot our professor, then I hid under the desk, and then he proceeded to shoot everybody else in our class practically. There were probably 15 to 20 people in our class, and he shot maybe 10 to 15 of them.
That must have been so terrifying for you.
It was truly just surreal, nothing to even describe it.
What did you hear?
At first it sounded like hammers on the wall, on like concrete blocks, just construction work, but then once he entered our class and started shooting, it ended up to be way more surreal than I think I'd ever want my life to be.
And so you stayed under your desk?
Yes, until the gunman left our classroom.
Can you tell us anything about the gunman? What he looked like, what he said, what he was doing when he came into the room?
He was male, Asian descent, and he was about 6 feet tall, wearing a black leather coat and then a maroon hat. And he didn't say anything, which I found very unusual. He just started shooting people, and it's truly tragic.
What kind of weapons did he have? Did you see that?
It looked like he just had one handgun, like a 9mm handgun. He emptied maybe 8 gunshots into our classroom and then reloaded it while he was there and emptied about another 8 gunshots.
When he left the room and you were able to get up, were there any other survivors in your classroom?
There were 2 more people who hadn't been shot that I could tell. And with their help, I had not even realized I had been shot until I gotten up and I saw the blood on my arm. But with the 2 people who hadn't been shot, with their help, we helped to barricade the door to prevent them from coming back in.
Meanwhile, your classmates...
A lot of them are dead at that point, or almost dead.
And your professor?
I didn't see him, but it appeared that he got shot in the head.
What class was this?
This was a German class, introductory German.
After you kept him from coming back into the door, what happened after that?
Well, we had barricaded the door. I used my foot. I had tennis shoes on. And then he had come back after firing shots in other classrooms. And he proceeded to shoot the door, which was wooden. So bullets were hitting the door and almost coming through the door. So at that point, we got really scared that he might come back in and shoot the rest of us. But we managed to keep him out.
So you kept barricading the door and you just held on and then he left?
Mm-hmm. And all at the same time, my arm was bleeding, so I used my belt at the time to try and stop the bleeding. And I was calling 911 with my other hand.
You seem pretty calm, but obviously this must have been terrifying and you're very shaken up.
Yeah, it was... Nothing can describe this. I mean, something that you would never imagine in life. Something like out of a dream.
This campus here in Blacksburg, Virginia is just over 217 miles southwest of Washington, D.C. Virginia Tech was founded in 1872. The main campus includes 100 buildings spread out over 2,600 acres. There are 25,000 full-time students here, making it the largest university in the Commonwealth of Virginia. All the students here, needless to say, are still trying to absorb what happened on their campus today, waiting for the word on the condition of the wounded and, of course, mourning the friends that they have lost. Here's Thalia Shuras.
It is an appallingly large number of deaths to comprehend for young people, for anyone.
I cannot begin to convey my own personal sense of loss over this senseless and incomprehensible heinous act.
By late this afternoon, this once bustling campus was abandoned. We found this group of freshmen, all friends, struggling against the fierce winds, at the same time struggling against their worst fears. One of their friends, their dormitory residence assistant, Caitlin, is missing.
Apparently she was in, what's the name of the building? Apparently she was in Norris during the incident, so we're just praying for her and stuff. That's all we can really do.
Everybody's been trying to find her, and nobody can get in touch with her. Her family, nobody.
Brandon Resnick heard shots fired this morning.
We kind of ducked behind some cars, and the first shots we heard were kind of muffled. And then the next shots were much louder. Still didn't know how close they were, but so that was really scary. I went ahead and just ran inside.
Paul Lancaster is an employee at Virginia Tech. He got caught up in the lockdown.
It's an unimaginable tragedy to happen anywhere, and when it happens on your campus. I know people in Norris Hall. I don't know what's happened to any of them. I'm still waiting like everybody else to find out and pray that they're safe.
The waiting is now what seems worst of all. Waiting to hear if friends will be found safe. Waiting to hear the names of the victims.
I don't know, just the saddest day I've ever experienced. I mean, it's just, it's
all we've been doing all day. It's just been watching the news, finding out more and more, and getting sicker and sicker and crying and being upset. It's just horrible.
I never thought it would happen.
School officials are not encouraging parents to come to the campus, but if they do, any information available will be provided to them at the Inn at Virginia Tech. A memorial service will be held on campus tomorrow afternoon. All classes, however, are canceled tomorrow. Thalia Ashura, CBS News, Blacksburg, Virginia.
Meanwhile, our Justice Department correspondent Bob Orr has been working the phones all day long trying to get the latest from federal and local law enforcement officials. Bob, what are they telling you about this suspect?
Not very much. They tell us privately that they have identified the suspect and they will be releasing the name in the coming hours. Presumably, they're still doing some police work. They're doing search warrants at his place of living, perhaps where he worked. All they'll say, Katie, is this is not a juvenile, he's an adult, but that could mean he could be anybody. He could be a student, he could be a faculty member. They're saying, when asked, is he a student, they're saying something like that, maybe a teaching assistant.
So what about reports that he's an Asian male? And
they will confirm that.
And they will confirm that. And what about his motive, that it was some kind of relationship gone bad?
Every official we talked to today said that the first shooting, the one that happened in the dormitory, appears to be related to a domestic situation. In the news conference, they said it was not an ex-girlfriend. Now, no one's explained that contradiction, but police tell me, law enforcement authorities from the federal government tell me there was a domestic component to that. That's why, when that shooting happened, they didn't lock everything down immediately. At least that's what they're saying.
The chief of police said this happened, the first incident happened at 7:15, the latter one around 9:20, as we reported earlier on this broadcast. But they're not saying yet that these two incidents are in fact connected. Is there a reason for that?
That even puzzles federal investigators, I have to say. The assumption at the federal government level is that they are obviously connected. They can't explain what the gunman did between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but I can tell you this, the crime scene is just awful at Norris Hall.
Because it's at multiple locations, correct?
One federal agent said it's one of the worst crime scenes he has ever seen. The violence and the way it's all spread out, they're going to be there for quite a long time.
Bob Orr, Bob, thank you very much for your help. Coming up next, we'll be talking with the president of Virginia Tech University, Charles Seeger.
We have Medicare supplement insurance because, well, there are gaps in your Medicare coverage that Medicare supplement insurance will
Supplement?
It's exactly what it does.
Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company. Insure life. Begin today.
Dear Whole Grain Muffin, we had quite the office romance. We started every day together. Then things started to crumble because of gas. Now I use Beano to prevent gas. Meet me in the break room, you little stud muffin. I'll take Beano before, and there'll be no gas.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure, and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in twos, but sometimes help can come in one. Catawit.
Catawit contains the leading branded blood pressure medicine Norvasc and Lipitor, the leading branded cholesterol medicine combined in one pill, Catawit.
Catawit is one of many treatment options I discussed with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you. Along with diet and exercise, one pill doing two jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit's not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol lowering benefits, it's Catawit. One pill, two medicines. Makes sense to you, makes sense to me. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you.
We took the Land Rover LR3 and compared it to the Hyundai Santa Fe. The Santa Fe beat the Land Rover in the 0 to 60 test and in the quarter-mile test. It also beat the Land Rover on the dry slalom and the wet slalom course, as well as in dry and wet accident avoidance tests. But the Land Rover did beat the Santa Fe in number of cup holders. Well, you can't win everything. The Hyundai Santa Fe, $13,000 less than the Land Rover, and a few less cup holders. Hyundai, smart move.
Blue sky, smiling at me, nothing but blue sky.
Today, there's a fuel that, when paired with advanced diesel engines, will help reduce truck emissions by 90%. And that means bluer skies and cleaner air for all of us. Introducing new ultra-low sulfur diesel. From the people who bring you oil and natural gas. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
Charles Seeger is president of Virginia Tech University. President Seeger, first of all, our condolences to you and the entire university community for this terrible loss that you all are experiencing. What was your reaction when you first got word that this had happened?
Well, as you know, there were 2 shooting events, and the first one, we got the 911 call about 7:15, and our security people thought it was confined to that particular incident, 2 young people in a dorm room. We immediately locked down.
That was when a gunman came to a freshman dorm.
Right. Well, we didn't know at the time. It could have been a murder-suicide, for example. We just didn't know. So we quickly closed the dormitory and began interviewing witnesses to determine what we could. We were also looking for a murder weapon at the time. But nevertheless, it's exceedingly troubling, and then what subsequently followed is difficult to comprehend, the tragedy that has occurred today.
So the first incident was around 7:15.
Well, that's when the call came in to the 911 center.
You all notified students around 9:29 that a shooting incident had occurred, because I read the email on a student's computer during the press conference. A shooting incident occurred at the dorm earlier this morning. Police are on the scene and are investigating. The university community is urged to be cautious and asked to contact Virginia Tech Police if you observe anything suspicious. I guess the question, President Seeger, you've been asked repeatedly is, after the initial shooting, why was there not a lockdown on campus when there was a suspect at large, even though the authorities thought he had left the campus and possibly the state altogether?
One, you have to appreciate the campus is like a city. We have 26,000 students, 10,000 employees, hundreds of buildings, and we also have 9,000 students who live here, but another 14,000 in transit coming into their first classes. So we were acting based on the advice of our security people at the time, where they thought this incident had occurred. We weren't even sure there was another suspect at that point in time, and we did what we thought was appropriate at that point.
Do you have any second thoughts about the way this was handled in terms of notifying students that potentially a dangerous armed suspect was on the grounds of the campus?
Let me say, after every incident, we do a complete review of every step that was taken. At this point in time, we're focusing our energies on the families. Some of them are here right now, notifying them and working with them and helping the university community to heal itself.
I know you're going through the painful process of identifying the victims.
We are, as we speak.
And you're still doing that. And family members, some have not been notified, is that right?
Some have not been. It's my understanding that 3 families have now been notified, but we have to be certain on the identification, and we also have to be sure that the crime scene is managed properly, because if there are later incidents or prosecutions, we don't want to have anything to jeopardize that.
President Charles Seeger, President Seeger, thank you so much for talking with us this evening. We appreciate it. And we'll have much more from Blacksburg, Virginia, on the massacre at Virginia Tech a little bit later. But first, for the rest of the day's news, Russ Mitchell is in New York. Russ?
Good evening, Katie. The eastern seaboard was slammed by a powerful storm, a nor'easter. We'll have that story and much more in just a moment.
Still working on that?
No, I'm done. I was wondering, if we just...
Could have had a V8, 100% vegetable juice, with 3 of your daily vegetable servings in every little bottle.
We'll be experiencing turbulence. Please secure your belongings.
Glad Press and Seal Wrap. Just pull, place, and press. It gives you a spill-proof seal and makes instant bags to help keep food fresh. To seal almost anything, Glad Press and Seal Wrap. Get Glad.
So I'm here with George, and let me ask you this. Was it heavy lifting that beam?
Oh, yeah. It hurts sometimes.
I bet, man. It seems to be our lower back that ends up having all the pain. You ever just get stuck?
Oh, yeah. Been there a number of times.
So what do you do when you get stuck?
I take a bear and unstick it.
Upright is good.
Upright is very good.
Bear aspirin. Painkiller, lifesaver. Bear aspirin. Expect wonders.
Expect wonders.
Wait a minute, that's my line.
I've had several people come into the stores that I've gone over the Medicare plans with, and I always try to tell the senior citizens to get their families involved. And I had one lady that kind of tears welled up in her eyes a little bit, and I realized I'd said something wrong, and actually it was that she didn't have any family members to talk to. So I scheduled some extra time with her and went over it on a one-to-one basis and tried to help her make a choice. Now I'm her son, I guess. My name is Rodney Wilson, and I'm a CVS pharmacist.
Oh, what a perfect day.
Oh no, nasal allergy congestion strikes again. It's everywhere, outside and in. Prescription Nasonex helps relieve congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms. Maybe that's why 6 million people used Nasonex last year.
Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
For congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms, ask your doctor about Nasonex.
These cows are on a mission to create the perfect sandwich, a grilled cheese made with Kraft American singles. So crunchy and melty, you'll want to perfect one yourself. Kraft Singles, herds of mooey gooey goodness.
Until you get a hankering for month-old frozen biscuits, we'll keep making them from scratch. The made from scratch Monster Biscuit, new at Hardee's.
Much of the Northeast remains waterlogged tonight thanks to a severe spring storm that refuses to go away. It is the same system that spawned weekend tornadoes down south. In the Northeast, it's brought plenty of wind, rain, and even snow. New York's governor called it a real horror show. New York City had nearly 8 inches of rain by this morning. Philadelphia more than 5 inches. While in Warren, Vermont, they picked up 17 inches of snow. As Nancy Cordes reports, you expect spring storms, but not like this.
Forget April showers. This was a deluge, the likes of which New York City hasn't seen in 125 years. A true nor'easter with nasty weather stretching from Maine to Florida.
It started raining, all of a sudden the water started coming in higher and higher and higher.
In New Jersey, almost every creek and stream and river overflowed, forcing some residents to rely on rescue crews in front loaders.
We thought we were going to die in there because the water went inside the whole apartment.
New Jersey's acting governor declared a state of emergency, as did the governor of West Virginia.
We don't know about the headwinds here.
In Massachusetts, extra warming stations lined the route of the famed Boston Marathon to ward off hypothermia.
This car was flooded.
And in the New York City suburb of Bronxville, Vadan Hunsaker got a knock at his front door early this morning. It was a pair of firefighters in a boat.
Have you considered moving?
Not really.
No.
Haven't considered much of anything right now. You just try and figure out what you can save, what you can do.
Nor'easters form when a low-pressure system travels up the eastern seaboard, sucking in cold Canadian air and warm, moist air from the south. It forced schools to close, airlines to cancel hundreds of flights for the second day in a row, and tonight, nearly 600,000 homes and businesses are without power.
It's unusual, but not unheard of, to have an April nor'easter. But this year, winter is hanging on, and this is a wintertime phenomena. So this just fits in with this sort of wacky winter we've had.
The storm is now moving out to sea, but the spring cleaning will take months. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Bronxville, New York.
I'm Russ Mitchell in New York. More from Katie Couric at Virginia Tech in just a moment.
It's simple, really. Give kids what they need to succeed, and eventually, they will. That's the idea behind the National Math and Science Initiative, a new program ExxonMobil helped create dedicated to producing 10,000 new math and science teachers. Because if we help kids today, there's no telling how far they'll go tomorrow. ExxonMobil.
Fast-acting Roundup. So effective, it even beats the weather. Roundup kills to the root and works so fast, nothing can stop it, not even the rain. So weeds go down and stay down, guaranteed. Roundup. Faster, better, rainproof.
That was my hunger.
roaring at me all the time. I tried diets, exercise, pills. Then my doctor recommended the lap band system.
It's a device placed around your stomach to help tame your hunger. As with any surgery, there are possible risks and complications with the lap band system, including but not limited to infection, nausea, vomiting, band slippage, and obstruction. Visit lapband.com or call 1-800-391-7720 for more risk information. Ask your doctor if you qualify.
And start taming your hunger.
Hey, boss. Do we have Aflac?
Nah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does?
Nah.
Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries?
Nah.
Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah.
There's only one Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Nah.
Here's to a healthy heart and all the wonderful feelings that come along with it. Introducing Benefiber Plus B vitamins and folic acid. The only clear, tasteless fiber with the added benefit of heart-healthy B vitamins in every sip. So you can feel great inside and out. New Benefiber Plus heart-healthy B vitamins improve the fiber of your being. Also available in easy-to-take caplets.
Dramatic testimony today in the murder trial of Mary Winkler. Her daughter takes the stand to talk about their family life. A live report on News Channel 5 at 6.
Back now at Virginia Tech University, the scene today of the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. Here is what we know right now. A gunman opened fire in a dormitory at about 7:15 this morning. Then 2 hours later, in a classroom on the other side of campus. Officials say he has killed 32 people and himself. 26 others have been wounded. Police have not identified the shooter. Students complained they didn't learn of the first attack until the second one in the classroom was underway. University President Charles Steger said authorities mistakenly believed the gunman had fled and that the campus was secure. He called the shooting a tragedy of monumental proportions. And today, President Bush pledged the federal government will do whatever it can to help this community. While the campus was in lockdown this morning, students who were trapped in their dorm rooms turned to the internet for information. Our science and technology correspondent Daniel Seberg has that part of the story.
This was all very shocking to all of us.
During the shooting, sophomore Kevin Cupp was locked down near Norris Hall, but not without his laptop and an internet connection. I spoke to him via webcam not long afterwards.
How important was the web and email and text messaging during this crisis?
It was very important, and I actually had people crowded around my laptop just to watch the news and the updates as they unfolded.
It was a sure sign of the times. Students using the web, cell phones, and other devices as a lifeline to the outside world.
Shortly after all this happened, I got tons of calls, text messages, emails from friends and family all around the country, just wondering if I was all right.
By 12:05, Kevin also began helping update the student-run news site, which was flooded with students and families looking for answers, as many as 100,000 online visitors.
When something like this happens, I mean, the first thing you want to do is just find out as much as you can about it.
Madison Van Dyne was also in lockdown near Kevin and talked to us later by cell phone.
It was just scary not being able to know what was going on outside and just hearing all the sirens come by our window. It was just very frightening.
With nowhere to turn, their computers became an obvious choice.
We had no television in our classroom, and so the web just became our television.
It was more than 2 hours after the shooting began before the university alerted students via emails, warning them to stay where they are. The university's website, overwhelmed, wasn't always accessible.
That was Daniel Seberg reporting. Some of our CBS stations will be leaving us now. For many of you, though, this special edition of the CBS Evening News will continue in a moment.
A juror in the John Ford trial had to be excused. This as the defense tries to discredit an undercover FBI agent.
The state has rested its case against Mary Winkler, but not before calling her daughter to the stand. More on the emotional testimony coming up in a live reports.
Plus, local reaction to today's college massacre in Virginia.
And after this shooting, local universities are rethinking their safety plans. I'm Rodney Dunnigan. I'll have the details in a live report.
And high-def radar coming up dry. In fact, a beautiful evening out there. 67 in Clarksville, down in Lawrenceburg. Blue skies and 71 degrees. Your news begins now.
From your news and information leader, Tennessee's first and only local news in high definition. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Vicki is off tonight. After 4 days of testimony and 20 witnesses, the state has rested its murder case against Mary Winkler.
And one of the prosecution's last witnesses, Winkler's oldest daughter. News Channel 5's Chris Cannon has been in McNairy County since the trial started. Now, Chris, this has been the most emotional day in court so far.
Chris, when 9-year-old Patricia took the stand, she broke down in tears.